Hello everyone. Today I'm going to dictate you the passage number 15 of the modern volume first. 5 seconds to go. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, I beg to raise a discussion on the situation in Jammu and Kashmir with particular reference to the recent massacre in the valley on July 13, 2002, and the failure of the government in this regard. This massacre is yet another indication that the terrorists can strike at will in Jammu and Kashmir. We all know that this incident took place when our armed forces have been fully mobilized on our borders for over 8 months now, and the government had also armed itself with a draconian anti terrorist law. Sir, the House would recall that when a similar tragic incident took place recently, the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister had assured the House that the government stood committed to taking all possible steps to control the militancy in Jammu and Kashmir, and that the security forces had been conducted intelligence based operations against terrorists. We have also been told on behalf of the government that, based on the report of the group of ministers, the security system, particularly the intelligence gathering system, had been greatly strengthened. Until a few days ago, the government had also claimed that, as a result of what has come to be known in popular parlance as coercive diplomacy, it has secured assurance from major powers such as the United States and the UK that the government of Pakistan had agreed to stop cross border terrorism and to dismantle the infrastructure of that. Furthermore, until recently, some spokesmen claimed that there had been a very significant reduction in the infiltration after the May 27 speech of General Pervez Musharraf. In all this, the country stood as one. We, as principal opposition parties, extended full support to the government to face the challenge of cross border terrorism and the proxy war being carried on by Pakistan. And yet, sir, the situation on the ground has not improved. If we go back to the ghastly incident of Chhattisgarh, the attacks on innocent people in various parts of Jammu and Kashmir, the attack on the assembly in October, and later on our parliament, all these go to show that our nation's sense of agony and pain as a result of the activities of terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir has not abated. This morning, the Honorable Home Minister and Deputy Prime Minister gave certain figures about the number of violent incidents in Jammu and Kashmir by terrorists, the security personnel killed, the terrorists killed, and the civilians killed. No doubt, some of these figures show a marginal improvement. But considering the extraordinary measures that our government have taken after the full mobilization of our armed forces, I think the progress can hardly be considered encouraging. Therefore, we would like to know from the government as to what their plan of action is to deal with this continuous pressure that is being exercised by the acts of terrorism, perpetrated from across the border. After the ghastly attack on our parliament in December 2001, the government mobilized our armed forces on an unprecedented scale at our borders. We supported the government in its resolve to counter cross border terrorism. Until a few days ago, the government spokesman had been claiming that this exercise in coercive diplomacy had yielded positive results in that the international community, led by the United States and the UK in particular, had sufficiently pressurized Pakistan to give an undertaking to stop infiltration across the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir and also to dismantle the infrastructure of terrorism in Pakistan, including Pakistan occupied Kashmir. As I mentioned, responsible members of this government asserted that cross border infiltration in Jammu and Kashmir had virtually come to an end. However, more recently, the tune has changed. If this is the ground situation, what then are the gains of the so called coercive diplomacy? We would like to know from the government the objectives behind this coercive diplomacy and the extent to which those objectives have been achieved. General Musharraf has been making many statements, and I have seen one public statement by him which says that though infiltration is not taking place, he can give no assurance that nothing will ever happen again at the borders in the years to come. He has further stated that the closure of terrorist camps is purely an internal matter for Pakistan to decide. We would therefore like to know the nature and value of assurances supposedly given by General Musharraf to the United States and the UK, on the basis of which we undertook the first initial steps towards de escalation of tensions on our borders. I would also like to know from the government how far our own approach to escalation or de escalation was influenced by the coercive diplomacy practiced by the international community in the form of travel advisories to their nationals. Thank you.